What did I learn in the first topic? This is a list of learning or knowledge that I learned while watching and listening the subject Leia 3 or the first session on Industrial Security Management. Introduction to Industrial Security Management. A research project on security and its definition. How to handle security system or security service management. Why are security guard vital in any situation, such as assisting in the protection of a company, establishment, a bank, a school, or private property? The meaning of the 3:1 security to policeman ratio is that there are 3 private security for every single police officer. The distinction between a security guard and a police officer. A security guard is someone who is in charge of security and protected service in their specific designation or area or obligation, whereas a police officer is someone who serves and protect our country or safeguard, protect our country or investigates. There are 5 basic principles of security. The one is there are 5. Command responsibility cannot be delegated. Security tasks can be assigned. Compartmentation on a need-to-know basis. Balance between security and efficiency, which means security always take precedence over efficiency. General principle of security remain constant, which means specific measure to suit operation. And finally, security is the concern of all personnel of all their rank, regardless of rank, their position, or their title. And lastly, in the topic 1, I learned about there are also 2 forms of active defense against crime measure. They are the active and passive, as well as their variances. And this is a list of learning content from topic 2 that I gathered while listening and taking detailed notes to ensure I understood everything. I discovered some important points that we should be aware of, including the following. The main understanding regarding the private security rank, position, staffing pattern, and job description was taught in topic 2. Security management personnel, line leader staff, and security guard make up the 3 divisions of private security rank, position, staffing pattern, and job description. I've studied about the 4 groups of security management staff, which comprise security directors, security executive, security staff directors, and security staff director, as well as their responsibilities in their individual position or line of work in each private security rank. When it comes to command responsibility, the security director is the one who has the highest rank. They are agency manager or chief security, the one who supervise, manage operation, and stand for recruiting, or simply implies he or she is the head of the chain of command. Whereas security executive, assistant agency manager, and assistant chief security officer all refers to the second in charge. This is the security director alter ego. The third is the security staff director who serve as the secretary to both the security director and the executive. It is also includes two types of staff director, one who oversees operation and the other who oversees administration. The person in command of the operational system as well as the intelligence system of the security service act as a civilian who is not in their uniform when on their duty. And it's known as the staff director in operation. Those in charge, whereas those in charge of paperwork, blatter, complaints, and customer service usually work in the office as administrator, focusing on record files or director. Last but not least, the security staff director of training is in charge of security training such as ballistic tests, agility tests, firearm handling training, and familiarity training. They also go through a security service training program and learn some basic martial arts such as arnis and single sinawali. There are three types of leadership staff. The security supervisor 3, number 2, the security supervisor 2, and the last one is security supervisor 1. Explaining the difference between the work responsibilities of security supervisor 3 or the detachment command or the field commander. The highest field area of responsibility and the security supervisor 2 naman known as the chief inspector who inspect the entire area such as the good equipment and the appearance of the security. And that is the responsibility of the chief inspector. And the third position is that security supervisor 1 who is in charge of the area given by the chief inspector or detachment commander. Finally, there is the matter of security guard, which is divided into three categories: security guard 1, security guard 2, and security guard 3. It is the role of the role of security 1, also known as the watchman, to just secure the designated area with no right to use allocated weaponry but only to keep an eye on things. Other terms include is the posted guard, which include the batuta and the gun that was issued to them as well as their area of responsibility. The security guard 2 is the chief in charge of the schedule in a certain chief ship, which implied that the security guard duty is to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The last one is the security guard who is in charge in the command of the entire facility or who is in charge of the establishment whole security service. That is why security guard are one of the most crucial jobs and they are more than just security guard. While in topic 3, there was additional vital information concerning security guard that I learned that I needed to take note on and review for the next topic. The following are the details concerning the basic equipment used by security guard in the performance of their responsibility. The mandated clothing design or the prescribed uniform by the company which they work is number 1 on the list. The nightstick or baton is the number 2, and the whistle which employed in traffic or used in traffic or to a person who does something needless in number 3. The remaining items on the list are those that are time-based, such as writing pen. The security guard guard notebook or duty checklist, also known as TECLR, excuse me, contains the security guard accident report or the Bible of the security guard. Other important list equipment includes the flashlight, which is used for nighttime duty, the first aid kit, which is used for rescue or first respondent when there is an emergency situation such as a client injury, and the service firearm. The other equipment includes handcuffs, which are used by security guard to arrest people who break the law, such as theft or robbery, and they have been trained on how to use them as well as how to use them temporarily and report. The second list includes the metal detector. The third list includes the communication radio, which is used to orient the radio sign, stand devices, armored vests, bulletproof vests, and how to train K9 units. And the last list includes the electronic service communication device. The right haircut, clean their nails, it must be shortened. His hair is cut into 4x4. His hair is cut into 4x4. The polishing of all paraphernalia should always polishing their paraphernalia day to day or every day. Inspection to make sure it is clean or all significant factors in the physical hygiene of security guard. The third list include a well-ironed uniform that is not faded. The most important one to look presentable as a security guard, as well as black socks, the appropriate black shoes, only authorized uniform, ball pen and pocket notebook, proper headgear, firmness standing and walking to look presentable, and respect for those in positions of authority. Last but not the least, when on duty, avoid wear a tight uniform. And lastly, going back to our instructor last topic, I learned every section and article in the law of the instruction to industrial security management, which is included in the first list, in the list that I compiled or jotted down while watching the video or listening the video. The first one is all about security guard. Section 3, license to exercise private security profession. In Article Section 1, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, property without due process of law. Section 3 of the security guard, license to work as a private security guard. Section 1 of the article, without due process of law, no one's life, liberty, which mean about dun sa Section 1, Article Section 1 is without due process of law, no one's life, liberty, or property can be taken away. That is why we have a criminal justice system that recognize every person's right to exist outside of the court jurisdiction. Also, you should be aware that killing someone is not an option. Article Section 2 of Bill of Rights, the right of the person to be secure on the person's house and paper in against unreasonable searches. Section 2 of the Bill of Rights, the right of a person to be, which means to be protected against unreasonable searches of his or her person, home, and paper. This includes preventing unauthorized entry into any property or with what we call the violation of domicile. In Article Section 3, a privacy of communication and correspondence shall be inviolable except upon lawful order of the court, when public safety or order requires otherwise prescribed by the law. Section 3 of the article, unless the court issues a legitimate order, the privacy of communication and some correspond shall be protected. When the public safety or order necessitate it, or when the law compels it, for example, for instance, when the order a search warrant or issue a search warrant or an arrest warrant as required by the law. The following are the security guard qualification. Applying security guard must be a high school graduate with a minimum age or not less than age of 18 and not more than 50 years old. Pre-licensing training course or its equivalent such as example yung TESDA is required. Good moral character condemned by accord with the final judgment and no pending cases. Must be physically and mentally fit. The distinction between a security guard and the security officer. And let's talk about security officer. Section 4 must be a Filipino citizens. Officers of security guard must have a baccalaureate degree, be a physical and mentally fit, and have completed a security officer training course or on its equivalent or the test. And consultant in security or security consultant must be always a Filipino citizen, physically and mentally fit, with a master degree in criminology or public administration or MPA, master in public administration. Number 4 is 10 years of expertise in the security industry. And last, private investigator or private detective. Section 6 must be always Filipino nationality, physical and mentally fit, baccalaureate degree holder, ideally Bachelor of Law or Bachelor of Science in Criminology, graduate in Criminal Investigation Course, example dito yung CIDG, tapos nagtitrain sila ng 6 month, PNP, and authorized and recognized training center. And there are also exemption. They are the one who honorably discharge and exercise private security, whether they are veterans or retired military or police personnel. As a result, or taking as a whole into to work as a security guard, security officer, private investigator, or private detective, or security consultant, you must be always a Filipino citizen, have a degree, and have completed any criminology course, among other requirements. Their job responsibilities are equal high risk, which is why no one has the authority to do so because they are only security guard. They have a rank, a position, and a job description. So don't dismiss their abilities as a security guard or any other inferior title that may be applied to them. This includes knowing or being aware of how significant the security guard is, one of the high description in criminology course, as well as earning their respect as a security guard.